I guess you don't want to weigh in on the Grammys politics too. It's hard enough with the politics that we have.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, we are facing a provincial election this year. Yesterday we said Doug Ford throw his hat into the ring. Last week we had Patrick Brown stepping down amid scandal. And all of a sudden, the Ontario election just got interesting. Exactly. And we have our good friend here, Jim Warren, a political strategist, in to talk about what each party needs to do, what are their strong points, and what are their weaknesses right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. If it was a Netflix TV special, we couldn't have written it better. It's exciting times.
Up until now, it's going to be a fairly dry campaign.
Well, and now Doug Ford in the race, and we know that the energy and enthusiasm that it will bring both positive and negatives.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the three parties. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Let's start with the Liberals. So, I mean, we've got, they have really been putting on the election machinery over the last little while.
So Premier Wynn's really focusing on two things, the minimum wage increase and the free drugs for youth. And so they're really focusing and trying to get the public's attention on their policy platform. They really want to focus on what they plan on doing and how they will basically sell their government for the next term. The other nice thing they have is this turmoil within the Conservative Party is giving them some political cover to be able to give them some breathing space. They don't have people talking about gas plants. They got the Tories talking about themselves. So therefore, Kathleen Wynne can try to sort of sell her positives.
Is the gas plant still a negative for them? They inherited a lot of scandal from the Dalton McGuinty days. Is that still dogging them going into this election?
So her negatives, and the thing she needs to manage is her personal popularity is not as strong as the policies that she's trying to sell. So she needs to be the salesperson, but she needs people to focus on what she's selling rather than herself and the person that she is, because those tend to draw negatively. The other thing we cannot do with Kathleen Wynne is underestimate her. So she is the comeback kid. She in the past is she had to run against John Tory. She had to run in the leadership. She was going to go against Andrew Patel in the last campaign against Tim Hudak. Every time every expert said she was going to lose, she's always somehow managed to come back and win.
Okay, I want to get to the Conservatives and the NDP now. Conservatives have a golden opportunity here because anytime you have a leadership convention, you tend to gain a little bit of post-convention motivation from that, and that's fairly close to the election.
Right, Kevin, and a lot of people thought Patrick Brown actually wasn't going to be able to pull it off and win this election. So the Tories could end up with a better leader than they would have had otherwise, depending on who they, of course, pick. The other interesting thing with the Tories is their platform launch was very well received. It moved the party to the middle, and they're well organized in that they have a lot of money. Now, what will happen with that organization in the weeks to come is what's most interesting. The Tories' big problem is a house divided collapses upon itself, and this leadership campaign is political fratricide. It's Cain and Abel. It's brother-sister ridings against each other. And so what will happen with the Tories when they fight amongst themselves? Can they come out united in time to win the election and the campaign that really matters?
People have been keeping themselves very clean. The NDP, have they been too clean, too quiet, too forgotten?
Well, the NDP definitely has a low profile. Andrea Horwath, the leader, has been unable to get any sort of media coverage. The positives for them going into the campaign is they have union support that had gone to the Liberals. They have now gone back to the NDP this time around. So that's a big positive. The problem for the NDP is Kathleen Wynne has eaten the lunch of the NDP. The Liberal platform steals from all these key policy things that the NDP would want to sell. Minimum wage and drugs for kids is something that we traditionally would see from the NDP. So right now, the NDP has to say, listen, we're the only true voice. Let's get rid of this old government. We're the only true voice of progressives. Vote for us.
All right, Ontario goes to the polls in June.
June 7th.
June 7th. All right, it's going to be a very interesting few weeks.
It's exciting times.
Jim Warren, we're going to have you back in, I'm sure, throughout the campaign, and we'll see how they're doing.
Thanks,
let's go upstairs for our top stories. Here's Mel.